settlement cluster was kind of scraggly and almost deformed. Brushy, deformed trees, probably because of a storm, a wind event maybe, wind bursts, or a major winter ice storm had deformed the forest or had depressed the growth of a lot of the shrubbery. And so it was very twisted looking, brushy, bushy. So, and it was a hard scrabble area to travel through. So the early roads that were cut through there in pads, really, nothing more than footpads, were very arduously created because of that. So it gained the name the bush. If you lived in the bush, people recognized the reference to it. And down there in the cemetery, many of you have probably saw some gravestones that had names like Dawes on it and Ford. Those were Dawes and Ford were the first two family names to be associated with the bush. So in 1785, three men, young men in their early 20s, who were Revolutionary War veterans at the time, early to mid 20s, let's say. One of them was a little bit older. Samuel and John Dawes, brothers, and Amos Ford. They were from West Cummington, and they were looking for more land because there was no land left where they were to expand. And so they settled up along the brook on Bush Road, where Jambs Brook begins, basically, with the confluence of Clear Brook and Windsor Pond Brook, the outflow from Windsor Pond. They built a cabin for the first year, and they all lived together in this cabin before they brought their young families there to live with them. And they, in the meantime, began building 3 houses that would be each of their family homes. And they all helped out building one particular home, which went through a number of different family names in later years. And I have some of those names with me that I can mention. So it was Samuel Dawes that ultimately moved into this house that is still barely standing in a very decrepit state. I haven't been over there in a while, but I've been informed. But it was known as the Wells Coleman place for a long time. Then it was the Darius Bird homestead, and then I think it was his grandson Kierstedt that was the last.
Yeah, his
to
sister
actually
Margie still lives in the area, but not in that house.
So it's been many years since the house was occupied. It was a classic 1.5 sort of Cape Cod style, which was typical of the time. And I'll pass this around. This is an old photograph